Good morning, everybody. Good to see all of you here today. When I was in the first grade, I went to St. Michael's Elementary School in the little town of Elizabeth along the Monongahela River. Every morning, I'd enter through the double glass doors and look up at the large statue that stood in a recess in the wall. Looming overhead was a life-size ceramic likeness of St. Michael the Archangel. His chest was plated in armor, his blonde locks reached his shoulders, and his gaze was handsome but stern as he plunged a spear into the jaws of the dragon at his feet. We were told by the good sisters to pray to St. Michael because if he could slay the dragon, Satan, well, imagine all the misfortune he could spare us 6-year-olds. So I believed and I prayed. Soon enough, though, it became clear that St. Michael could not save me from one thing: my first after-school detention. But I'll leave that story for another day. Nevertheless, imagine the dismay, not to mention the anger, of my young mother upon having to walk 2 miles to the school with my 3-year-old sister in tow to retrieve her wayward first-grade son. It was not a pretty sight, and it got less pretty when my father came home from work. I learned many lessons at St. Michael's, and it was there that I formed my earliest Christian beliefs. We recited the Apostles' Creed, memorized the Beatitudes, and read about how the martyrs died. As I got older, though, my beliefs evolved. I cast off many of the man-made institutional tenets of the church where I was raised. By the time I was a young married adult, what stood out to me were not the things I believed, but the things that I didn't. And it's not the way to a good spiritual life. Fortunately, my wife Sandy had the same doubts and objections. Together, we began looking for a church to believe in. It took a while, but when we found St. Brendan's, our search was over. I know many of you experienced the same thing because you've told me your stories. It's one thing to attend a church out of habit or family tradition, knowing all the while that you have misgivings about what you see and hear. How refreshing, on the other hand, to belong to a church you believe in, a church that feels like part of you. For me, St. Brendan's is all that, and because I believe, I give. I believe in a church that takes its mission seriously. Years ago, the people of St. Brendan's decided that their mission was to deliver the fullness of life through worship of God, service to the world, active concern for each other, and education to expand mind and spirit. When I see that mission in action, I believe. I believe in our varied opportunities for worship, the intimate feel of the 8 o'clock service in the chapel and the optional Eaton Park breakfast that follows. The lively celebratory service at 10 a.m. with its mix of traditional and modern music. The midweek option of the Wednesday evening Eucharist, and the monthly Taizé, a quiet, contemplative tonic for a busy, noisy world. I believe in the many ways Brendanites perform service to the world, preparing food for homeless women and inner-city kids, collecting coats and giving backpacks with school supplies to families that can't afford them, teaching English to immigrants, reminding the public of the carnage of gun violence, spurring people to vote, even going out to pick up roadside trash on a cold Saturday morning when you'd rather be at home under the covers. I also believe in the help and concern we extend to one another. It's what makes St. Brendan's feel more like a neighborhood than a church. I believe in the home-cooked meals brought to parishioners who've been in the hospital. I believe in the Eucharistic visits made to our homebound members. The Get Well cards circulated in the social hall on Sundays and mailed to parishioners who are going through a rough time. Yes, I believe in all that. I also believe in the many ways St. Brendan seeks to educate. I believe in it every time Mother Robin blesses our children at the baptismal font before they head off to Sunday school. I believe in it when I see our members sign up for small groups, take part in Bible study, or expand their knowledge of the church through the modern Episcopalians. Even St. Brendan's book club is a place for learning, with a chance to grow friendships while discussing the latest bestsellers. That's another thing I believe about St. Brendan's. I believe that we like each other's company. Look at that choir. They don't come here just to sing. They like being with each other. Look at the hospitality after every 10 o'clock service. It's sometimes hard to tear people away. Then there are the men's breakfasts, the occasional women's luncheons, and the suppers for 6 in people's homes. No one goes out of obligation. You go because you want to and because you know you're going to enjoy it. And here's the dirty little secret about Brendan's boots. It's not a fitness group that counts steps and miles. They're out there because they like the good company, the friendly chatter, and the nice lunch that comes at the end. I believe in this too. And sometimes it's hard to believe that what I'm talking about is a church. So where am I headed with this? Of course, it's stewardship season. But I'm not going to hit you with budget numbers and a wish list of needs. I'd rather tell you what I believe, because I think you believe too. As you consider what to give next year, don't think so much about amounts, but about what you believe and what you value here. And think about pledging whatever your contribution will be, because those pledges give the vestry a better idea of how to budget. The simple fact is, I believe in St. Brendan's, and so I want to do all I can to keep it around. You know, churches come and go, and ours is only 36 years old, but I want it to continue to welcome strangers with open arms. I want it to not just tolerate, but appreciate people for their differences. I want it to be an affirming Christian place for anyone, regardless of gender, race, age, marital status, or who they love. And I want it to be that church for a long, long time. Sandy says my parents named me well, because I've always been a doubting Thomas. Jesus told the Apostle Thomas, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." But I had to see St. Brendan's for myself to know I could find a church that feels like home. Now that I see, I believe. And because I believe, I give. As we take this remarkable church into a new year, please join with me in believing and in giving. Can I get an amen? Amen. Thank you.